So whenever you want to learn something, one of the things that you'll be encountering is terminology. Say terminologies of electronics engineering.
Terminologies of electronics engineering.
Yeah, because actually most of the ideas, they have a particular language. You want to learn about mathematics, you will find some terminology. So you find about integrations, differentiation, solving whatever simultaneous equations or whatever maybe. So you can find particular language which is actually will be used often. Okay? So even in these modules, some of the terminologies are common for you, but it's better to have such kind of a broad understanding, and you should remember these terminologies, because sometimes you find that once you have these terminologies, then you say, okay, from a mathematical point of view, Ohm's law states like this way, right? So from there you say, okay, so if you need the Ohm's law, so what the mathematics have been used there? Division, or fractions, right? Maybe fractions or multiplications of the two physical quantities. Are we together?
Yes.
So I found some few terminologies that can help us to understand or to grasp the concept. And the first one is the one that I gave you as the homework. Science. This is the key for electronics engineering. Say science.
Science.
It's not new terminology, but maybe you have never thought about it when you have been learning in electronics. So the fundamental question is, what is science? What is science? What is science? There are different ways that you can define science, but the definitions of science itself give you something very important. And the key points that it will give you that science is the theoretical and practical. This is the fundamental. We saw it from the big picture that science is the mother, right, of electronics engineering for everything that we learn. So it means science and mathematics are the maybe mother and father, whatever. Yeah, mother and father. We said king and the queen of engineering, because I told you that in mathematics it's the queen of engineering. So electronics, mathematics, engineering, actually that's the queen of electronics engineering. So if it's the queen, you know, whenever we have a queen, we have a what? Yeah. We have a male, we have what?
Female.
Yes, at a point. So what is science? So I know that you know the definition of science, and maybe you have brought it several times when you have been in Form 1, because at the moment that we are used to ask these questions, right? But I want to write some definitions of the word of science. But in your mind, you have to know what has been insisted in that terms of science. Because sometimes you can complain that science cannot solve real life problems. But the issue is not science, the issue is you. What did you draw from science? Are we together?
Yes.
Unaelewana? Kama science unajifunza kwenye karatasi, unajifunza kwenye karatasi. Alafu ukapewa tatizo ambalo labda ni la kisayansi, utatue linakushinda. Shida si sayansi. Shida ni wewe. Shida ni mimi. Sawa? Na huwa nawaambiaga hivi Watanzania wenzangu. Kwa ukijitahidi, mimi nadhani kitu cha kwanza ambacho nilichokuwa nimekifuatilia wakati najifunza ufundi ni kwamba nilijaribu kwanza kutafuta uhalisia wa hivi tunavyosoma. Kwamba hivi vinatumikaga kweli au tunasoma vingine na vinavyotumika ni vingine. Nilivyojaribu kuangalia katika mazingira ya kwetu sikuona, kwa sehemu nilivyojaribu kufanya utafiti wangu sikuona matumizi. Lakini pia nisema anyway, sasa kuna wenzetu Ulaya, Marekani, huko siwezi kwenda physically, si ndio? Je, naweza nikajifunzaje? Kwa nikawa naingia kwenye mtandao wa internet, naingia kwenye website mbalimbali, naingia nasoma, naona alafu naangalia video vinaofanyika, nikaja kurealize kabisa kwamba kumbe hivi vitu vinatumika. Sio stories nazosoma, ila vinatumikaga wapi? Na je, wale wanaotumia kwamba kuna tofauti gani na sisi? Nikafanya utafiti kwa sababu nilikuwa nafundisha hesabu watu wazima na watu wanaokuwa wafanyakazi wa Coca-Cola, wa TBL. Waniambia kabisa kwamba bwana, sisi tuna limit. Unakuta ni engineer lakini kama ni mfumo pale anatatua matatizo, lakini kuna matatizo mengine yakisumbua ibidi aagizwe expert kutoka Marekani au kutoka South Africa ambao alipia tiketi ya ndege, ni hela nyingi sana anazokuwa nazo. Hasa na mimi swali langu lilikuwa nakuja kama kuchallenge ni hili. Je, hilo tatizo alafu akija anaficha ile knowledge kama anakuagiza kaniletee maji. Kirudi tayari system imeamka. Yeye alifanya nini? Ndio Wachina wengi wanaokuwa wanafanya. Sasa hasa jambo la msingi kwamba huyu jamaa labda akatumia nusu saa au akatumia risali zima. Maana yake kwamba kwenye nchi yetu sisi ambayo iko na watu zaidi ya milioni 50 kipindi kile, kwamba hakuna, yani maana yake wote hatuna akili ya kutatua hilo tatizo. Nilijifikiria nikasema shida haiko kwenye akili. Sawa? Shida ipo ni kwamba je, una msukumo gani wa kutaka kutumia hicho kitu kwenye maisha yako? Pate point. Kwa maana yake hata wewe unavyoenda shule, bwana sisi kwa mifumo yetu nipate cheti. Haya, utapewa cheti. Sawa, utapewa cheti na utapata cha kwenye cheti. Are we together?
Yes.
Are we together guys?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the point. Cheti si kibaya, kizuri, kina nafasi yake. Lakini huwezi kuweka pale cheti labda kama nani system yani system imezima imesumbua kaweka cheti, cheti unaweka cheti tengeneza basi. Can you? No. Mind, it's the one that has to work on. Are we together? Hasa lakini wenzetu wanasoma inawezekana, yani kukifuatilia si vitu tofauti na ninavyosoma sisi. Na wakati mwingine unaweza kukuta sisi na complicated zaidi au naenda ndani zaidi kuliko wao. Ila wanavyosoma wanazingatia vigezo na masharti. Wewe unazingatia vigezo peke yako, utapata cha vigezo peke yake. Lakini unataka azingatia na masharti. Kama kuanzia day 1, what is science, nini na nini, asoma kitu fulani, what is battery, anaona battery, what is resistor anakuwa naye anaitumia, what is nini, what is capacitor anakuwa naye anaitumia. Sasa unataka mfanane na wewe ambaye kwamba una imagine resistor kwamba huenda ni nyumba fulani. Are we together? Yes. I think you got my point now. So science, okay, science. So for those who don't understand Swahili, you should not worry about what I've been presenting. I think that's the message for Tanzania. So I found one definition. Science is a systematic. First of all, science is what? Systematic. Say systematic. Systematic. So if you want to learn science and you are unsystematic, then science tell you, I'm sorry. Systematic study of what? Of the structure. Systematic study of structure and behavior. And behavior, so systematic behavior of what? Of the physical and the natural world. Physical and natural world. Physical and natural world through observation, experimentation, and the testing of theories, testing of the theories against the evidence obtained. Against the evidence obtained. This is one of the definitions of science. And this is according to the Oxford Dictionary. Refer Oxford Dictionary. So the issue is not the definitions of science. The issue is what you get. What can you extract from that definition? Okay. So the first terminology or the first vocabulary is systematic study. Say systematic study.
Systematic study.
So it means we as Tanzanians, if we cannot apply science, possibly we study science unsystematically. Yeah. You know that always if you want to succeed, you have to agree that maybe the previous ways that I've been using are not correct. If you don't agree, okay, can maintain this, but forget about changes. Okay? So systematic study of 40 of structure. So okay, science can help us to study about 40 structure and behavior. Behavior 40 of physical and the natural world. Through what? Observation. Through what? Experimentation and what? Testing of what? Theories against the evidence obtained. These definitions, if you go through that definitions every day in a 1 week, your thinking and your learning system will change. Right? Because from now, you're a scientist since standard 3. You'll be learning science since standard 3. Standard 3, standard 4, 5, 6, 7. How many years? 5. Then you've been going through from 1 to from 6. So 5 plus 6? 11. So you are the 11 years, what? Scientist. But now, how have you applied your knowledge of science in solving your own problems, not even your family problems? Your own? Because I know you have some scientific problems. So what the challenge? Okay, so maybe you learn science and systematically. You have to study yourself. Okay, so it means that you have been studying about structure and behavior of the physical and the natural. When you say physical, it means man-made. Resistor is man-made. Capacitor is man-made. Inductor is man-made. Right? Natural, it means that actual, that maybe you are dealing about copper, you're dealing about those are the natural. But maybe a man-made, but maybe a man is just actually preferring. But did you learn science by observation? Observations, mostly it means you can use what you're an actor. So for example, in this workshop 1, it means you did an observations of electronics components. Right? So have you been observing? Did you do it? Much experimentation since standard 3 up to the you are from 6 or you are from 4? Did you do? No. So if you did few, then how do you expect? Do you expect miracles? You expect miracles, eh? It means the experience to do it yourself and then you get a result. And then through what? Testing of the theories. You learn how many theories of science at this time? Did you test them, if they are correct or not correct? No. So, who are you waiting to test it for you? Huh? You see that the first challenge is our mindset, not even the system. Before you complain about our educational system, you have to complain about your own mindset. Okay? Because maybe if the system did not give you, why didn't you look around? Somewhere else, outside of the system.
Capital.
Capital, okay, capital, time, you know, as we are Tanzanians, you know. Okay, so also I have found another definitions which you can listen. I cannot write that once because of the time. Science is a systematic endeavor that builds and organizes knowledge in form of testable explanation and predictions about the universe. So you find every definition is talking about his science, and I remember that one note, it means that, I remember this one, it means that science, this one, you have to write this note. Science is the theoretical, I remember this note, I found it, theoretical and the, so theoretical and practical subject. So from the beginning, from standard 3, we have to be one. Oh, students of primary education, science is the theoretical and practical subjects. Hey, can you imagine if you began this journey since standard 3? Where would you be right now? Here, where would you be? You could be a great scientist. Since standard 3, maybe even one day in a week you build something. Where would you be?
An expert.
You'll be an expert now. Eh? So what happened? Were you busy? No. You are actually that you've been playing football, doing things, playing drafty, making stories, and then sometimes that you say that I am a brother of the school. Mimi kaka wa shule, yani ukifika form 2. Mimi kaka wa shule, kwa nyinyi njuka nyinyi. Okay, the next terminology which is very important in this module is mathematics. Okay. This is self-assessment, self-analysis. The aim of this week is just to do self-analysis first. You can complain. You know that as human beings, we are very simple to to point somebody rather than to point yourself. You know that. If you want to understand, imagine that you have a group of your best friends or of your friends, and then try to remember how many times did you talk about yourself in a conversations of 1 hour. How many times did you say, me, I'm very stupid. You know that I'm very crazy, I'm very lazy person. It's rarely. Mostly, you know, hey, somebody, hey. She's not serious, anajifanya kweli anajiona. Then, question 2. What is mathematics? Our intentions is not to define mathematics. Our intentions is we want to see that. What do we need there? Or what should we need since we meet with mathematics? Okay? Say, what is mathematics?
What's mathematics?
Now are you feeling shame? Don't feel shame. This is how life goes. So mathematics, say, what is mathematics?
What is mathematics?
Wonderful. Mathematics itself is a science. Is a science. So mathematics also is what?
Science.
Is a science. And science is what?
Mathematics.
Is a science. So it means that mathematics is a science of structure. Listen, science of everything. Structure, order, say structure.
Structure.
Order.
Order.
Structure, order, and the relation. And what? Relation. Relation that has evolved. So relations that has evolved from elementary practice. From elementary practices of counting. I'll be unhappy if at the end of this workshop 1 that you'll be just leaving that, we define science. I'll be very unhappy. Our intention is not definitions of science. Our intention is to know what you have been missing along this journey. So from there, we have to recorrect ourselves so that we cannot do the same mistake. Because actually this campaign began long time ago because you didn't like electronics yesterday. Possibly you liked electronics since you were in primary school. So the preparation should seriously be started from that time. You understand what am I saying? Yes. Yeah, but unfortunately maybe you did a mistake. Okay, so you say that what is mathematics? Is the science of structure. Say structure. Order. And relation. That has evolved from elementary practice of what? Counting. Say counting. Measuring. And describing what? The shapes of what? Of objects. So it's the science of structure, order, and relation. How things relate. So it's actual mathematics, how electric current relates with voltage. Right? How electric currents relate with resistance. Are we together? How current gain relates with maybe output current. How voltage gains relate with input voltage. That the means of relation. Are we together?
Yes.
But in terms of the structure, for example, if you have numbers which have been arranged in rows and columns, how can you manipulate them? Right? How can you manipulate? So maybe those numbers representing the signals or are the practical informations that which have been obtained from a particular system. But also in mathematics, in most cases we have the input and the output. We have the input and processing, then we have the output. And that the output is what we call the answer. Are we together?
Yes.
Are we together? So for example, if you're writing that maybe we need to take your 20 plus 40. These are the inputs. And this is the process. And hence we know that if we get a result, right, that the output, this makes what 60. So you know how to do this, but you didn't think, how can I apply it? Yes, because this is all about engineering. 20 plus 40 is equal to 60. This is representing the simple block diagrams of any engineering system. The simple block diagrams of any engineering system, it means that it should, whether mechanical or electronics, it should have the input. The first block should be have the input unit. And then the second one should be the system, we call it just a system or processing unit. And then the last one should have the output unit. This is the fundamental output unit. However, that this the second one is in most cases called the system. So any system has what? 3 parts: the input, the processing, or the manipulations or whatever of the system, and the output. And we began to learn it since standard 2 or standard 3. I think that the moments when you learn about the addition, right? So in addition, we have 20 as our input. We have 20 V-soda, right? Plus 40 V-soda. So 20 V-soda and 40 V-soda, those were the input. So the process now, if we mix them, what do we get? So the process is what? We are adding them. That's the system. Then the output is what? Now the answer. The answer might be correct or wrong. So simply these block diagrams input are 20 and 40, right? Then the processing is all about addition. And then the output is 60 for the correct output. But also somebody can say that it is 2, so it's wrong output. It's output that's wrong. Are we together?
Yes.
Once you came in programming, let me just excite you, because this is the objective of the first week. Just I want to excite you, to shock you. Once you come to programming, you can write a programs that can do addition. So there is 2 ways that you can write a programs. You can write a programs which you call the fixed programs or flexible programs. So fixed programs means you declare int A is equal to 20, int B is equal to 40. Right? And then you declare that maybe declare int sum is int sum. So once you come, you write the operations, the processing part. Sum is equal to what? A plus B. You put a semicolon, right? And then you come and print what? The output. That's all about engineering. That's all about basic mathematics, fundamental mathematics you've been learning. But the issue we're enjoying on, and that's the challenge, that we've been enjoying on doing this, but we don't challenge ourselves. How can we apply and solve real life problems? We are thinking inside what? Are we together, guys?
Yes.
Eh?
Yes.
Jamani, hii ni hesabu ngeni.
Hapana.
Lakini hujapata picha hapo unakoelekea wewe. Kwa mwanasayansi naye anatakia aone hapo, kwa sababu sayansi inatumika kwenye sayansi. Hivi hapo napata taarifa gani ya kisayansi? Napata picha gani ya baadaye? Lakini for the flexible computer programs that if you want to write, okay, maybe you can write that, okay, you declare that int A, then you say that you declare that int B, okay, and then start to declare maybe int sum, then you put your semicolon, then you allow the user to input any inputs, maybe maybe the positive numbers or the integers, or the positive integers or negative integers. That's another way. But from that program, you have the input, you have the system, you have the output. That's the fundamental of computer programming. That's why you have heard that computer programming is mathematics. Why? Because actually it's a simple kind of mathematics, but you have to develop it to solve complex problems. Because this is the foundations. This is what should be in your mind. So even if you'll be given a complex problems, you can break it down into input unit, into processing unit, into output unit. And that's the responsibility of a technician and the engineer. Are we together?
Yes.
Now my local students or my local class here is silent. It means the message is penetrating in the ear mind. And then they are trying to think, teacher, how did you know that we are stuck around there? Yes, I knew it. I've been taught by God. I didn't ask you. So you can draw this simple. However, we'll discuss it later. But you can draw it for today's revelations in your mind. So you see that in mathematics we relate stuff, we study structure, we study orders, right? But we focus on counting, measuring. Engineering is also about measurement. Science is all about measurement of the physical quantities, right? And then once we measure it, then we can use mathematics to relate now, to find a relationship, right? Are we together? And then describing what the shapes of objects